accurate to her experience.
So as a follow-up to that, are there specific scenes or moments that are not in the book, but she just told you a memory and you decided to put it there? And then also another thing to pick up on what you said, what was her reaction when she saw the finished film? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember her telling me about when she was in Germany first meeting Elvis, and they went to the movies together, and that he said the lines along with the dialogue, and how much he wanted to be a serious actor. And to me that was really important to put in, because it explains so much about his frustration as an artist, and I felt like that scene told a lot about him. So it was great to hear that, and I was so nervous to show it to her for the first time, and I was so relieved and thrilled when she told me that that was my life, and Kaylee, she was really impressed with Kaylee, and that she she really showed how I felt, and so I was really relieved, because it was important to me that it felt like her story.
And also, it's not long ago that we've seen Elvis, the Baz Luhrmann film, and then I think both as an audience member and as a critic, I felt that it was fortuitous. Now we have Priscilla. I just felt like it kind of completed a void. So I'm wondering, first, were you aware that that movie was happening when you were making yours? And did you also feel that way, that having those two movies maybe look at the both sides in a very, fortuitous manner, back-to-back years?
Yeah, when I was working on this, I was told that Baz Luhrmann was making his film, and kind of like, well, do you still want to do it? And I said, it sounds like it's a different, it's a whole,
Right.
I think it's even better that you can have his story one year, and then a year later have another side of the story about Priscilla, because she's barely a character in that. So I thought that it was a good counterpart, and I didn't think it was a disadvantage. I thought, it's interesting to hear her story.
So what was your process, before we talk more about Priscilla herself, what was your process to kind of peel those layers away? Because we don't, we only hear about Colonel maybe in one passing moment, but we don't see him. We don't have a lot of screaming fan scenes, maybe a couple of them, and also, his music isn't largely present in the movie. So what was your process of peeling those back and then working with Jacob Elordi to kind of step back from that myth of Elvis?
Yeah, I really just worked from her book, and it was really just, she really describes in detail what her experience and from her point of view. So it's really how she, her emotional journey, and then also seeing him through her eyes in their private life. And Jacob and I talked about him I wanted him just to have the essence of Elvis. Like, no one can be Elvis, no one looks like Elvis, but just to get the sense of the way he moved and his voice, so that the audience could hopefully just go, have the feeling of him, but to show him in his personal life, and Jacob watched a lot of interviews and material, but he always kept in mind that he wasn't doing his public interview voice. It's how, kind of imagine how he would be in private.
And tell us a little bit about finding Kaylee Spaney. I've seen her performances in some other movies, but this is a movie that's hopefully going to make her a huge star. Why was she right for this role in your eyes? And did she have to audition? What was that process like?
Yeah, I thought, how am I going to find an actress that can play 14 to 28? And it was really important that it be the same actress. But then my casting people said, oh, you should check out Kaylee Spaney. She was a young, kind of up-and-coming actress that they were, thought was talented. But I hadn't seen her in much. I watched Mayor of Easttown and thought she was good in that. And then I met her, and I thought she was really thoughtful. And she looked like she was 15, and I thought, she's in her 20s, so I thought, okay, well, she can play both, because she knows she's 24, she knows both experiences. And then Kirsten Dunst had just worked with her, and so I called her and asked her, and she said, oh, she's so talented, I loved working with her, and so that gave me the confidence just to cast her. We didn't do, I never did it. I was supposed to do a chemistry test with Jacob and Kaylee, and we never got around to it. And
what is a chemistry test?
Like a screen test where they do the scenes together. And then my producer and I were like, oh, it's gonna look awful, like in a hotel room with a bad wig, and it's gonna be discouraging. So we thought, let's just not do that, because that's not, anything good is not gonna come out of that. And so we just kind of went on blind faith. I met both of them separately, and then they both showed up in Toronto last fall, and luckily they had spent some time together before Kelly reached out to him, and they really got along, and they were great together. So I lucked out.
Did Kaylee work with the real Priscilla Presley? Did she have a chance to talk to her about?
Yes, Priscilla was very generous with wanting to help where she could, but she didn't come to set. She didn't want to make Kaylee nervous, so she was like just really the best mix of letting us do our thing, but being there when we needed her. And Kaylee spent time with her before the shoot, talking to her and just asking her questions, getting a lot of detail for her performance, and then just getting a sense of her. I felt like Kaylee really captured her voice and kind of her gentle demeanor, and got a lot out of just being able to spend time with her and get her perspective.
So then in the end, since you didn't have the pre-work while you were shooting or prepping them, how did you calibrate their chemistry together, both the love and joy that they clearly shared, Alice and Priscilla, but also some of the darker moments? Did they have to engage in any exercises, or
how do we prepare for that?
Yes, go beyond what was on the page to immerse themselves into the headspaces of the two characters?
Yeah, we didn't do like intensive rehearsals because I wanted them to, because we were going to shoot we shot all out of order, but at the beginning we shot stuff in Germany, the first meeting, and I kind of wanted to have that, I don't know, electricity of first meeting someone, but then we were shooting all out of order, the sets and everything, so they had to really just adapt quickly, and I think the costumes helped, and I was really impressed with how the actors could keep track of where they were in time in the story, and it was really important to have, from the story, that the highs and lows, the fun and the dark side, and it felt like, such a roller coaster that her life seemed like, and so they were just able to get in the prepared for what the tone of each scene was, and it was really a balance to have both, because it felt like it wasn't going to work unless you had both.
And knowing that you didn't shoot chronologically, that must have been especially challenging for Kaylee. I mean, I know everybody goes through the same time frame in the movie, but she's literally a child at 14 and going to later 20s. So did she have to do those big jumps in a single day, be 14 one time, and then maybe in a couple of hours has to play this pregnant woman?
Yeah, I really felt for her, because we would do a kid scene, and then she would go to the makeup trailer and come back, pregnant in her 20s, and somehow she was keeping track of it, but I had to look at her to know where we were in the story, and I was really impressed. And then when we first cut it in order, and that it actually, I was really impressed that it made this transition, and somehow it worked, because she was somehow keeping track of it, and I was surprised it all fit together.
And I want to talk a little bit about the beautiful production design that you have in the movie. I mean, Graceland used to be, something else. Now it's a tourist attraction. I'm sure it's been renovated through the years. What was your own Graceland? What was your process of building your own Graceland? What were you pulling from? Was it just trying to give a vibe that, Priscilla herself told you, or were you going really strictly archival?
Yeah, it was a mix. I mean, we had a lot. Luckily there's so many photos of that time, and the set was actually built to the real plans, the scale, except we made it taller the ceiling taller for Jacob. But otherwise, it was built on the actual set, and there was that 12-foot long couch that they really had, and so it was really based on the real one, and it was really important that we get all the lavishness of the drapes and the shag carpet, and maybe exaggerated a little bit, but it was fun to, he collected all these animal figurines, so it was fun to come to the set, and they would have all these animals that he would have, the tiger in his bedroom, and the bedroom, there's no pictures of that era, so the art department had to we had to imagine what it would be like, and we wanted it to be like this real man cave that was really intimidating. So when she comes in, and she's this young girl, and it's all black velvet, and the bed is bigger than it would be, because she talks in the book about how intimidating it was to see his bed and imagine all the women there before her, and so it was a combination of the research and then our imagination and what her emotional the reaction was to it.
And you're